Now add impulsivity to the equation, and that's me. Sometimes you just look at your wardrobe and think,
he needs some milk!
It's not good enough. Have you ever been scrolling Pinterest and you see the mass amount of whimsical, aesthetic cottagecore and you wish you were in that photo or wearing said clothes in that photo? Now add impulsivity to the equation, and that's me. Now I've made many a pinafore, and at first I adored them, I loved them. This is one I made, as well as this corset. But over time, I've grown to dislike the pinafores I've made because I didn't make them well, because it was the early stages of sewing. On the inside, they just kind of look like a whole load of hot garbage. 4 to 5 years later, I can absolutely see where I went wrong, and I would like to improve my wardrobe. Naturally, I did see a photo on Pinterest. It's been in my cottagecore Pinterest board for like a really long time now, months, years, and I just wanted it. Of course, naturally, I zoomed on down to Hobbycraft because there was already a fabric in mind. Honestly, I think I wanted to use it for the exact thing I wanted. So I got the entire 5 meters. Because in the past, I've not made my skirts flowy enough. I like ultimate flow. Age. So I wanted max amount of fabric to get max amount of flowage. And then I got just a couple of extra bits and bobs like ribbon, buttons, and a zip, because I want this dress to be corseted so that I can snatch my waist. Snatch! I have a very basic sewing pattern for a bodice. Yes, also from the Marcel cosplay. The only sewing pattern I own. And yet it's coming in quite handy for all these projects I've been doing. Thank God, because usually I just wing these things. The plan is to use said sewing pattern just for the bodice, and for the skirt I would like to make a multi-tiered skirt, like I think a 3-tiered one, because I really love the look of a 3-tiered skirt. The waistband doesn't need to be anything special, and then just connect it all together. And at the back add some lacing. Now, of course, I do not think the video will be long enough if I just did that alone. So we're going to be adding another project in there. This one is not just like a sewing project from scratch. We're there. I bought these 2 pieces of clothing from Edinburgh recently. I bought them because I was like, I can just tailor these. Just giving myself a nice little task with things I buy, as always. Number 1, a whimsical ass waistcoat. This, naturally, is just way too big for me. So I'm thinking of grabbing a waistcoat that I already own that does fit me, and using that as a guide to make this a little smaller so it can fit me. Next, a pair of pants. They're a lovely dark green. They're also men's pants, so obviously they don't fit me.
Huh? What?
At all. However, the plan isn't to just make them fit. I want them to be like very high-waisted, and I quite enjoy the look of it being like so high-waisted it's almost up to my like boobs. Usually when I've done something like this in the past, I will take some off the ends of the leg, and then with the extra little snippet I got from both legs, it turns into a waistband. I think if this works, I'd love to make more of it, of the same kind with different types of fabric, because I own a lot of shirts, a lot of lovely adorable shirts. Look how pillowy these, and I think that's it. Let's go.
So I immediately got into it and just started gathering any of the fabric around my dress form, just so I could have some idea of what an amount of fabric gathered would look like, the flowage, because I did not desperately want to waste the fabric. Once I got an idea of how much I should cut, I got right into it with my brand new scissors. Wow. That I got for my birthday because I was in dire need of brand new and actual sharp scissors. So I've gathered the skirt right now, and I'm wrapping it around my dress form and moving the gatheredness here and there so that it is not more gathered in one area than the other. So this is what she looks like after I have pinned all the panels together with a very loosely fit waistband. I'm very pleased with how it looks on day 1.
I was hoping I could speedrun this, but of course, alas, I suffer from head empty syndrome. And then I realize a mistake I've made too late. And then comes out the thread picker. You all know. The fated thread picker. This bad boy comes out far too early. It comes out so much, I just stuck it in my sofa. So it's there, ready. The bodice is coming along very well, actually. I had to make like loads of adjustments despite following a sewing pattern for once. I know. But they were adjustments that I clearly figure out how to fix, which is great. So I did that. Turned out well, fits me really nicely. And I was in the middle of like sewing like the ham, make sure it's all neat. And then I realized I was holding a not lined piece of fabric. So I realized, shouldn't this be double lined? So in a panic, because I'd made adjustments to the sewing pattern, I didn't actually have the correct pieces to make a new one. I wished upon a star and like somehow scraped up the knowledge and talent to make a new one in a couple of minutes. I was honestly impressed with myself. So now it's like, as you can see, it's like double lined now. I just need to sew the armholes, which by the way, the sewing pattern I cut it out to my size of the bodice, but the armholes were minuscule. I had to cut so much fabric off to get the armholes right. Do I give small arm energy? So today I'm going to try and finish this off. I'd like to say I'm likely to do more, but I am not. Because my ADHD really helps me not be able to focus. I need to remember I want to add pockets. Oh, I think that's as far as my brain can travel. Off we go!
So right now I've sewed the bodice piece and attached the zip. However, it's not attached to the skirt yet, so I still got to do that. Alright, it is time for the pockets! I am doing the age-old method of outlining my hand, and as you can see there, I have a little hot plaster on. Why I have that plaster? Well, it might be because of the brand new scissors. Naughty, naughty, don't do that. And I think these turned out pretty good. Pretty swell. Can fit my whole hand in there. Oh, there it goes. Yep. Hello. At this point in life, I am currently in need of some new brand boots, so I go to, of course, eBay and find these incredible Timberland mid-length boots. And I immediately got them. Pow! Look at that. They go so well with this dress already. So I'm trying on the dress with the t-shirt to see how it looks, and I've even stylized it with the boots and a little satchel backpack to see how, you know, it's coming together. And I think so far it's very adorable! These are some folds I've added now either side when I want to add the eyelets for the corset.
I'm realizing this waistcoat looks a hecking lot smaller than looks a hell of a lot smaller than this. This is just one big pattern piece, and this looks like it's 3 pieces. Why 3? I'm probably gonna have to remove the buttons before doing this, because this is that small. Oh Christ. Oh, biscuits. Oh my god, I do not need that much fabric at all. Let me go get my pins and something to outline. If anyone's interested and will be happy to know that I bought More pins. More the poblin. The poblin thrives. The poblin community lives longer. I bought a heckin' lot of more pins because in my last video I complained I didn't have any frickin' pins. I was frickin' picking for pins. Master's got his pins again. Oh, yes. I think that's the fun thing now about buying clothes. Any clothes, but mostly like vintage clothes and like charity shop clothes, is that I have more of a chance with it, of it being something I can wear because I can tailor things. Not well, but I always give it the good old college try. Before I had a sewing machine, I was just straight up just hand sewing, hand tailoring. So if I bought, I believe I bought a dress once, and the dress just like wasn't giving. She wasn't. She wasn't giving a waist over 9 inches. So just hand stitched the back to be a little smaller on the waist, and it made it look way better. Oh my god, the amount of things I hand stitched before getting a sewing machine was cruel. And now I've been seeing TikToks of people thoroughly encouraging hand stitching and hand sewing as if it's like, I don't know. It didn't feel like someone sharing their newfound passion and interest. It just kind of felt like, this is why what I'm doing is better than what you're doing. And that didn't feel nice, naturally, as a person who owns a machine. I can't even remember the reasoning behind why these people were preaching hand stitching. All I know is that they were definitely saying that it was like way better. I just find that really interesting because as a person with literal ADHD, I don't have the patience. I simply do not have the God-given patience. Oh wow, the inside of this is lovely. I just don't have the patience to spend spend weeks to months on a project. So a machine is very, very, very helpful.
I just folded over the edge all around the cutout piece and just sewed that. Also sewed some little buttonholes. Ooh, looking fancy. Oh, what's she watching today? What is it? It's Smash Reddit. Oh, this one sounds intense.
It's another day, and today is Trouser Day. Mine trousers. What's that doing down there? Could have lost that. I've mostly completed the dress, mostly completed the waistcoat, but mostly I need those just teeny tiny little boring ass details I struggle to do. So we're doing the pants. Now I have lengthened, extended pants at the waist before. No, it's something I am familiar with, but given the amount of fabric I can harvest, I might do something different than I normally do. Ravioli. There's no way I'll be able to do it. But if I can, I'd really like to aim for a more vintage look with, you know, those high-waisted pants that had like the section at the top that had like buttons on either side. Zippy zip. What the heck? Considering my inability to get the leftover fabric for the waistcoat that I had hoped, my expectations are lowered. I know I'll just be happy with what I can do. Yep, I'm gonna have to put the pants on, see how much I am able to cut off at the leg, see where the waist of these pants come up to on my body. So if it already goes up to my waist, then I know I don't need to extend them that much, or I could just completely replace the waistband. Either way, depending on where the pants come up on my body, I'll have to cinch this waist a little so that when I attach the new waistband that will be like much smaller, it will, I can like easily attach it to this. Is this on? Yeah, it's just thing on. I gotta go put on some pants.
Dog, look at the gunk I found in his pants when I was unseaming them. Look! Ew! Look at these two! Nasty!
So, I've been looking online at how I want to do the waistband. I need to draw it out to visualize it. Ta-da! Impeccable drawing. She is an artist. I noticed there is a same like peak on top and the bottom. What I noticed was the peak at the top does not align with the one on the bottom. So I'm either just gonna have to wing it with some measurements of that area of my body, or I don't want to do this. Wrap myself in saran wrap and duct tape to get a perfect pattern. I don't even think I own duct tape. Now that's a faff. We don't like a faff in this crew. In the club, we all faff. I'd rather do the least amount of effort possible. The pattern looks pretty simple. I saw this. There was like usually a seam line here, and then I think a seam line here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and then I assume the back piece will just be like a rectangle. I'll just make the back piece a rectangle. Considering the bodice I just made for my dress, that had, I think these are called darts in the back. So it becomes a little more cinched at the bottom in comparison to the top. I might do that. Might have to do that. But I have to make sure these buttons are able to overlap. The pieces on their own, kind of look like there'd be a bit of that. And then I think the most responsible option is to make a mock-up so that I do not waste this precious fabric I have. Precious. This is the amount of fabric I was able to get. I could get oh no, wait. She unfolds. See, this is a great amount of fabric, isn't it? I think I could do really good with this. The pants, by the way, do go up my waist, which is brilliant. Excelente. Yeah, I've got scrap fabric to make a mock-up. You make a mockery of this mock-up.
So I just sketched out a shape of what I think, it should look like. And after sewing it together and alterations, it turned out surprisingly well. Like, this is looking pretty good, huh? Now to sew the actual fabric. I cannot believe I managed to fit all of the pieces onto the very limited amount of fabric I had from the pants. It was a miracle. Here, side by side, is not the mock-up and the actual piece. It's actually, I made an inner lining out of some very light green fabric. But it actually genuinely looks like the light pink mock-up I made, which is spooky. After sewing everything together, I added some very fancy and not at all messy buttonholes. This is what it looks like on the inside. Very messy. I mean, very neat and tidy, not at all messy. Who mentioned the mess? Not me. And I'm using some zip ties for the boning because I'm a cheap queen. I sewed some little tunnels for it to go in, and that's me pushing it in because I needed to show you that. And that's what all the little tunnels I've made look from the inside. And now it's time to attach it to the pants! Now I've used some chalk to mark out where I should sew the buttons, and I used the buttonholes to help line it up perfectly. And here are the zip buttons. I decided to only sew 6 because when I tried it on, it was a little tight already, so I didn't need more.
So I thought I was done with the dress, thought I would just whack a couple of eyelets in there and call it a day. Turns out I'm managing to procrastinate the eyelets, typically. Despite having not done the eyelets, I've still put holes in the dress and put in some ribbon in it and like tied it up to see like how it would work. And it turns out when I tie up the back, it kind of starts like pulling upwards. So what I wanted was to like pull around my waist and work its way up. It's kind of like more like it's kind of like pulling up on the waist. So I feel like the waist isn't getting cinched enough. So yesterday, with some leftover scrap fabric, made a couple of these bad boys. And I will attach these on the waistband at the back so I can really just like... The most important ingredient of the recipe is the waist being cinched. However, little oopsie doozy woozy, accidentally made some of the holes too big on the back, so some of the eyelets don't even fit because I'm lazy. My plan is to just kind of like get some scrap fabric, put a small hole in some scrap fabric, put that on top of the bigger hole, try and put the eyelet in, and just hope that it all like squishes together. The punching, the hammering of the eyelet just like compacts the scrap fabric and the actual fabric together. I don't know how that will work, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. So we'll see. The weather in the UK lately has been so unbelievably sad and grey and cold, and I miss the sun. So I've decided to dress as a clown to make myself feel better. Got some rainbow pants on. Wow. I think in the future I'm going to do some form of project where I just make myself some like clown attire, and I'm very excited for that. I'm super heckin' excited to make some clown attire. Let's go! I think this dress has turned out so good. I already want to make it in just any other color. So far, I've been looking for brown and green fabric. I didn't want to go with a plain fabric because it just felt too plain. I wanted something, something patterned. However, my search for a nice patterned green fabric is fucking impossible. It's also, everything's really expensive. Even if I like some of it, it's just like too expensive for what I want. So I've just thought to myself, it's like, well, if this is going to cost this much, I might as well be on the lookout for bedding and curtains, because they end up costing the same as if I just got fabric. And it's just a bunch of fabric as well. So today, ta-da, I found 2 duvet covers from TK Maxx for a price that I thought was decent enough for the amount of fabric I got. La 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 la. Wow. This lovely plain green, which I know I said I didn't want plain, but as per usual, I must lower my standards. But I think this is the most beautiful color in the world. Yeah, so £60 for like a 2 meters of fabric. And then this lovely little thing. I don't know what to do with this yet. I just like that I just have it when I do know what I want to do with it. This was £11, even better. So I'm probably gonna make this dress again in that plain green. Anywho, so as it would appear, the holes that have been created in this dress are a little more intense than I'd realized, because I've given this a wear already, a little bit of a wear, maybe 2 slice of fries. Turns out when you really pull on that ribbon, yeah, it really fucks up the holes. Oh, duh, phooey. Yeah, that's my bad. So I've made these strips. I didn't realize this, but apparently people put boning right either side of the eyelets. I didn't know that. They grab my zip ties for boning to give it some sort of just any protection, because clearly I'm brutal with how I cinch my waist. I'm on my way. All right, I've managed to thread, if you can see that. It looks like a decent amount in the middle that I can have to work with. We shall see. Hey, maybe I should have done that before the boning. Hey, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing every day. I've been sewing for almost 5 years and I still don't know what I'm doing. Why, you ask? Well, you see, I don't have the attention span to follow tutorials and read books and buy sewing patterns. So because of that, I don't really quite behind on my learnt capabilities. Oh, check this out, dude. So basically, these little like frills on my cuffs are just like I just cut off the top of the frills from a sock, from my socks, and it's great. So now I can just add frills to like, usually right now I've been adding them to like plain socks, so they become frilly socks, and it's adorable. And I realized, I was like, whoa, what if I added them on my wrist? For a little like, oh, I just love it. I love it so much. If I find I think I own another pair of these socks. I think I'll cut those off too, so I have like more to work with. But I love accessorizing. I don't know, the way you're brought up and taught about how to accessorize as a woman is all that metal stuff. I just don't think I was ever taught the kind of accessorizing that I do now that I love. So, for example, I didn't realize that you could add fun hair clips to anywhere. It doesn't have to be your hair. I had fun hair clips anywhere, like my collars, my ties, my t-shirts, my dungies, my pinafores, the strings on a hoodie at the end. It's so fun. You don't have to add ties to shirts. Sometimes I'll wear a tie with a hoodie. Just like any ribbon, just like tying a ribbon any way you want. Like I will tie ribbons. I'll wear like suspenders. Suspenders are actually more fun than I realized. I'll tie ribbons on them. I'll put like clips on my suspendies. I'll tie ribbons like anywhere, man. As you can see, it's just so fun. Sometimes I just look into the crowds of people whenever I go into town. It's just a sea of blacks, navy blues, grays. We just naturally dress in such sad colors, which is funny because when people did that back in the days, because they literally could not afford the colored dyed fabric. And now we literally can. We can afford colored fabric. We just choose not to. It's so sad and drab. And then here I am walking through town in my rainbow pants. I am the change that people need. After days, maybe even at least a week or two of procrastinating, it's finally done. And now for the reveal.
Psych, I last minute added some lace trimming to the bottom of the dress the day before filming the reveal. I decided to stress myself out and do it last minute. So now it's time for the actual reveal.
You know what time it is. It's time where we talk about the things. The things where you speak and you do and your things and you... Anyway, okay. So... oh, that might be dirty. So overall, very happy with the new additions. Lovely new additions to said wardrobe. I now have a pinafore that I've already been wearing all the time. Like any chance I get, I wear it because it's adorable. And I desperately already want to make it in green. As you can see from the review, I look pretty dandy. I look pretty fetching. Can't tell if it's given like detective, reporter, journalist, adventurer. Very glad I got these boots. These boots really fit the vibe. You wouldn't expect that from like Timberland boots. That being said, you know what we gotta discuss. The skirt, super easy. Skirt could not have been easier. It was just like you're very straightforward. Didn't need a sewing pattern for it. The bodice, if I can find it, needed a sewing pattern that I impulsively altered, which made it harder. The armholes are very messy. It didn't turn out well, the armholes. It was just not happening. And luckily I do not care, because I think the rest of the dress is so nice that like no one's probably ever gonna notice that. I know what I can do better in the future though. There was a few things I had to alter in the bodice to make the two halves fit. I made one half of the bodice. And then I realized that I should probably make another half so I can easily add boning. But thing is, I kind of I altered the first half not to the sewing pattern. So I put it on the mannequin, which I now might name Manbulin. In the last video I asked if anyone has any names for my new dress form, and my friend gave some very good suggestions, specifically of historical women who have been beheaded because the dress form have no head. Big fan of Anne Boleyn. Wanted to make it like a play on words of mannequin, so I'm trying to see if Man Boleyn works. She also just suggested Mannequin Skywalker, which undoubtedly is the best choice out there. So I put the first half on Man Boleyn, saw what needed to be altered, whipped out the scissors, give it a whole snipperoony, and that's when I realized I should make another half. But now the sewing pattern doesn't match. Do it to myself. Other than that, everything else went pretty well. Moving on, the waistcoat. This was very straightforward. I just copied a waistcoat that I already own. This also turned out like splendiferously well. There's a few parts here and there where you can like it didn't fold over properly. So like some of the raw edges coming out, which isn't great, but like it still looks just like so good. It's so pretty. It's so Hobbit themed. And yeah, maybe the white thread doesn't like super match it, but I'm not that bothered. I really like it. I really like what I've done. Last but not least, the pants. These are crazy. These make me feel like I'm in like the 70s or something. These were the hardest things to do because I've never done this before, and also I made it hard for myself, as I always do. Despite that, we can say it turned out pretty well. No sewing pattern, no experience doing this. This could have been awful, and yet I think it was pretty good. That's it. Sit. Oh no, he wants to get up. I'm not gonna lie. I wish the pants were wider. I mean, of all the things I could have an issue with, that's it. And maybe one day I'll make them a bit wider. But I don't see any rush in doing that. So overall, a success! Until next time, I will be continuing to work on videos because I love to craft, and I'm going to record what I craft. So if you'd like to stick around and see those, it's gonna keep happening, baby! So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! No one wants a vest over 9 inches. That is gonna drill a hole. Then Bob's your uncle. Who's Bob and why is he my uncle?
We'll get a couple guineas. Guineas for copper, sir.